Hey everyone, this is Sujay Sankar Biswas, today the host of this show. So today we have with Shubhendu Shubham, and we will be shortly starting with Microsoft Azure Networking Fundamentals. So first of all, I want to give a small intro about Shubhendu. So he is currently also Microsoft or Azure community organizer. Plus, he is a good open source contributor, and he is cloud certified, and plus he has like good knowledge in Azure field. So over to you, Shubhendu.
Thank you, Vishwas, for such a wonderful intro.
Yeah,
Let me.
sure. The stage is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can I have access of sharing my screen? Share a screen. Okay. Let me know. Is it visual to you? My screen? Yeah, I think yes. Perfect. So yeah, coming to today's session, today's session will be all about Microsoft Azure networking 101 session, and this is gonna beginner friendly. Uh, so anyone who have just passed out the college or still in CS undergrad, they can join. They can learn basics of how cloud networking things works. And on this session, just for prior prerequisite, there's just basic. You need to have basic knowledge of networking things, and you have a laptop, internet connection, and Azure subscription. Nothing else required. And to be honest, I don't believe in a storytelling part. So this session most will be covering on hands-on session. So coming to next slide, let's see what's happened. Yeah, this is a little bit about myself. Already Vishwas has introduced you, with you people, and I do write blogs here, so you can visit and find out some wonderful articles. So today agenda it will be about 40 to 45 minutes approx session, and in this session we're gonna cover Azure Virtual Network, how we do set up a virtual machine networking, energy nothing but network security groups, and managing IP addresses, like how we set the rules, how we do commission IP, how do we uh, decommission an IP. So if we come to next slide, so our first session start with Azure Virtual Network. So in these things, we're gonna learn creating a virtual network in Azure portal, adding a subnet, and changing the IP, changing the address size of a space, and changing the subnet size. Perfect. And coming to technical requirement, just Azure subscription required and Azure PowerShell. If you know how to work on this thing, then it's awesome. But here in this is the beginner session, so we're gonna just do with UI part. Like no, we are not using any CLI part and nothing. So we are not using any PowerShell in this session. So coming to just little bit of introduction of Azure Virtual Network. If suppose it comes like Azure Virtual Network, what does it reflects in your mind? It's like Azure Virtual Network represents our local network in the cloud. What is the cloud? Cloud is like nothing but someone else's computer, uh, situated in larger area or somewhere, some in Bay Area, something like that. So like virtual network represents our local network in the cloud, enables Azure resources to communicate over a secure private network without exposing endpoint over the internet. Suppose we are already have a resource group, and if we do expose, and if public it is available in the public, don't then it the endpoints are not safe. So it enables like local network, like whatever is available in your home you only knows. This is the Azure Virtual Network represents, it represents local networking in the cloud, and it enables resources and it also help us to secure private network, whomever we were just want to share internally we can do, and we can set up the rules there so that anyone from public IP, whatever they want, whatever we want to show them, only they can visit. So how to create a virtual network when it comes to this thing? Then we have to only things required: having an internet connection with a laptop and just Azure subscription. If you don't have Azure subscription, you can sign up with uh, a student credentials with Microsoft Azure port on there. You will get 100 or 200 US dollar credit, and you can go and do hands-on. So in this step, we are going to create a resource, a virtual network under networking, and we have to select subscription and resource group on there. Uh, Let me go to that. So just for slide purpose, I have kept a snapshot here, like what it will look like. It will look like this thing. So better I will go directly here. And I will type Azure portal or portal.azure, whatever. So this first link, we have to click on this first link, and it will be take some time, and it will see our interface really looks like same. So here you have to, if you have not signed in, then it might ask you to sign in. I have already signed in, and I have like this community, my community subscription, so it's displaying it here. Let's come to the slide part. Let's see, like again I told you, it will look like this thing. And if we go back, so what are the requirements to how to create a Azure virtual network? So these three things, we have to create a resource first, then we have to select the virtual networking under the networking section, and we have to add a subscriptions there. So if I come to directly here, first here there's the plus icon. We have to click on this create resource group. So it will simply ask here like what services you want to create in this under this resource. So just referring, we have to create a virtual network. So either you can go here in networking section category, you can search, or simply you can type here so here first pop-up will come. We have to select this one. If we select it, so our display will come like this, and we have to click on create here. We this is just a first step, and we are just creating a virtual network under our subscription. So I already have this subscription. If you don't have subscription, then they might ask you to add a subscription, or if you have multiple subscription, then you can select it. So as of now I have only one subscription, so it's already pre-selected, and it will ask a resource group. So currently let me see, like is it there or not? Okay, I had a two resource group earlier, but I want to create a new one. So I will create a here new one. So it will ask a name. So I will type like PA something. Let's call it like packet networking portal, something like that. And one more thing, while naming your resource group, if you it's like multiple multiple word, then there should be like a hyphen, and it should fall every first letter of your naming resource group. It should be in always in uppercase. So we have to click on OK. Everything like it will ask a name for instant groups. So here we are gonna write anything, whatever you it up to you. So I'm gonna write packet. Again, I have to click on. Again, same camel casing I have to follow. Like it should be like uppercase, and there should be hyphen. And here this is the main concern, like reason. Like you can select whatever reason you want, but as of now we are in the India, so we have to select nearest one. This is the demo part, so it doesn't matter right now, and it might cost you on your subscription and billing if you go for some farthermost reason. But uh, for latency issues, and this is on our nearby, so we are gonna select a central. Next part we have to correct, either you can go on next this button, next IP addresses, or you can simply from here also you can select. So I am just going this thing. uh, so it's gonna show us some IP addresses. This is will be IP version 4. I think all of you have aware of, like, there are two types of IPs: IP version 4 and IP version 6. And if we check here, it will automatically selected few range here, like it will be, if you go 10.0.0./16, so this much of IP addresses will be available. And so see here, by default it will be like something default, it will be subnet name under, it will be automatically will be selected, its name will be default, but we're gonna change it. So if we have to click it. So here we don't want this boring name, so just for this part, just call it like front end. Again here it should be okay, fine. And in here is the interesting part. For here, like in Azure, there are 5 reserved IP addresses which we can't use, uh, and 251 plus 5 IP addresses range are already reserved for uh, Azure services and in Azure internal services. So we have to, like, it's automatically will show you here, like we can't use these IPs. So that's fine. Coming to net gateway service and endpoint, it should be like fine. So here it's showing like service endpoint, where you can select the resource, like whatever you want, like if you have to some like database services you want to, so you can go the Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Active Directory, or if you need everything, then you can select simply here, select one. For as of now we are just keeping it by default geo selected, and we just click it here. Now it comes to next part. So see here, earlier it was like by default, its name was subnet name by front default, and we just change it. How did we change? We simply clicked it here. A new pop-up will come, edit subnet, and we just change here. Now next part is security part. So for security part, like automatically DDoS is nothing but distributed denial of services. Like DDoS will always will be disabled. Protection standard will be disabled, and for this thing, firewall will be disabled. If you click it here, so you can if you click on this I notification icon, it will pop up like Azure Western Services and newly fully platform managed PaaS service that let us to provision inside the virtual network, and it also provides seamless RDP and success connectivity. So as of now, we will keep it by default, and we will see on next. And tags are nothing but, like, suppose if you have multiple virtual networks on your Azure portal, and suppose you have to filter it out, like for which services we have created which virtual network, so we can use any tags here. We can give it name and some values, like 1 2 3 something like that. Whenever you do search, it will filter out that. But as of now we don't need anything, because we have just creating a first one, and this is for just for demo purpose. And so we will create a review, so it will generate a review page. Here everything will be like our name will be packet portal, that's fine, we did it. Reason will be Central India, we already selected, and names are, tags are nothing, we haven't selected. If you see here, like a DDoS protection plan, it's basic, already selected. So what does Microsoft Azure do for us? It's already give us, like, if suppose someone has doing some testing purpose and he has not yet selected, and that testing is gonna like for 1% to 2% inside the team also, like Microsoft Azure itself do a basic standard of DDoS protection. So that's fine. Now we have to create on create. Meanwhile it is creating, I will go here. Just if you haven't clicked out here, you can go notification tab and it will show whatever, like this one. See here, deployment is already succeeded, and it's like packet portal. From where it's coming, we already named it packet portal. So it's coming. Coming to like how it works. So we deploy virtual network to a resource group under a subscription, like resource group where all our resources and whatever we do, it comes under the resource group. And for resource group, we need a subscription model. So we already, for me, I already have a subscription. So I selected it. If you don't have, you can go on Azure portal. There are some credits given for a student. You can use those things. So like coming to like how it works, like virtual network, it deployed under the resource group under subscription, and then we select a region, like we did. Our region was Central India. And for selecting IP addresses, we have to use CIDR format. Like CIDR format is classes interdomain routing format, where we always have to choose in like format of 10.0.0.0/8 or /29/16, something like that. It's called like classes interdomain routing system. We have a largest routing of number of 8, and smallest will be 29. I will let you know how to do all the things. First of all, we go here again, resource. Let's see what's happening inside. Same thing, like how it's working, I was telling you, like we just created a resource group under the subscription. What was our resource group name? This was our resource group name. And what was the reason? Central India. What a subscription. This was our subscription model. And see here, this part, what I am telling you, this format is called classless interdomain routing format. And virtual ID, Microsoft Azure will generate a virtual network ID for our further configuration. So this will be unique for each and every virtual networking. And if I go to slides again, so we have done with these steps. Azure virtual networking, and we have already created a resource. We choose a virtual network under networking section. We add a subscription, and we added resource group there. And now next steps will be, so I am just skipping this part. This part are already what I did. This is just a snapshot of all those things. If someone wants, these slides will be available after this session, just for your reference. Like if, how do we go and what will next screens will come out. So I have taken a snapshot. So here again, it comes to this part, like what I was telling. So how does it work? So like we deploy a virtual network resource group under subscription in the Azure data center, and address space often defines the like number of IP address that will be available for our network. If you go here, and if you have remembered, like while setting, there was a if I go here again, address space. See, for this much, it's showing like these 65,536 IPs are available for this range. This is the same thing what we are telling here. Like address space often defines the number of IP address that will be available for the network, and it always use CIDR format, like classless interdomain routing format. And for smallest subnet allowed is /29, and largest is /8. What does it mean? Like suppose from this range, 10.0.0.0/8, it gives the address range of like 16,777 to 115 IPs from here to here. Smaller, if we put /29, it will, that will be like from 10.0.0.2, 10.0.0. up to 7. fine. This part is already done. And now next come to interesting topic, adding a subnet in the Azure portal. If you go and if you remember, it already has a subnet called front end. We already had created. See, this is our virtual network we already created. If you click on here, the subnet, it already had subnet part. But if suppose if we want multiple subnets in our virtual network, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So we already deployed a subnet called frontend. Now we again want a subnet to be in our virtual network. Now how to do that? So like these are the steps how to add a subnet again inside our virtual network. So we select a virtual plane, a subnet section, and add subnet options, and then CIDR format. That's fine. Okay, I will let me show you how to do that. Okay, so if you go here, come to this part, web portal, click on here subnet. I will click overview. Fine. Now come to here subnet part. Now I have to update new subnet. Click on this subnet. It's already front end is there, but we need again one more. Click on subnet. Now we have to name, and this name should be unique. So it can't be a front end or something again. So it should be at least front end one, front end something. It should be unique. So we are just for safe side we are using backend, and again here let it be caps. Hmm. And see here again it's showing automatically showing CIDR format. If I click on this iota button and this thing subnet address, it will give you notification CIDR notification. Example, it must contain the address space of virtual network and address range of subnet which is can't be edited. Okay, fine, that's fine. And click on here save, and within a minute, within a couple of seconds, here again one new subnet is already added, and so it's available. So see how many IPs are available. IP range are available actually 2151, 251, and for backend also, because we have already selected for the same 24 and 24. That's why both are the same. And if we come to a slide, so these are the steps we follow. How do we go? We just create this virtual network section. Under the virtual network section, it will automatically display overview part here. And again, inside the overview, there is left hand corner, there is a subnet icon. If you click subnet, already will be there by default, or if you are changing some name, it will be there. And for if you want to add more subnets, you have to click it where. And so these things is also done. See, these are the few slides snapshot which I have already added. This is not, see, changing address space size. What does this mean? If you go here, I have, see, so it's address space size. If I click on the front end, it will show address space size here. See here, it's already said 251. Because we have a here put it 24. Now we have to change this address space size after, suppose after production we deployed something into production. Now we need think like there are more traffic on this production resource, and we need to increase the subnet size just for our smooth customer experience. So how to do that? So these are the steps we have to follow. Virtual network panel, locate address panel, the same thing which we are following. Address on the space and change the value to desired range. Enter the value address and click on save and apply. Let's see like what this means. See, same thing was there. Click on this thing. Subnet address range is there. Suppose what we do. Suppose we have to change to something like let's see. It's called it like 80. Okay, so it's telling like subnet address prefix or overlap backend. Fine, let's call it 16. Let's call it 12. What should we address space? Okay, so let's call it like 19. Okay, fine. It's overlapping my backend. So let me change it to a backend portal and see here 24. Let's see how it's work for 18. CIDR is not valid. It's not showing in this format. Okay, so fine. I have been doing something wrong. We have to click on this address space. See, for address spaces, it's showing here like this much of address count is available. And now we have to change here. If I go here 18, see, for if we do change 18, its count will also automatically will be changed here. Suppose if I go again with the 16, its count will be 65536, and if I go with 18, so it will automatically drop down. So this was the part, and let's save it to apply the changes. Basically, how it worked, address space cannot be decreased. So this thing we have to be always consider. Like earlier it was 16, now I did 18. What happens if I do 11 something? Let's see. It's showing this much, but for production side we don't never increase address space. Why? Because it's already why do we increase at like a space for something like it's already gonna full or there are more traffic. If we all so we need to increase it, not decrease it. If we decrease it, then it won't be a good practice. So we have already selected 18, so we don't want any changes, so let we cancel it. It will be like 18, and our address count will be 16384. And again it should be in format of CIDF format. So basically coming to this part is already done. Basically coming to this thing, same thing. If you here also same thing. Address with a virtual network, which is composed of not overlapping address ranges, and it should be in CIDR notation. And this part that thing. Now it come to changing the subnet size. This was address space, like whatever our addresses will be available for the IPs among this part. Now we have to change the subnet side. So how to go do that? Next slide. See, same thing. We have to go here for subnet size, subnet part, and here it is like select anything. Front end, it's like 24 here, and let's go with 25. See, now our what else? Like if we go with 16 something, see, it will throw an error. Like I already told you, like it can't be. It's already 24. We can't reduce it. We have to either increase or it should be as it is. So as of now it is 24. There is no issue. If I do 25, it's already one step upside. So it's no issue. All of a sudden, if I do or something like 10, again it will show the error. Can't contain virtual network address. Subnetting overlapping the backend. That's why we have to always practice with some higher precedence. And same thing, we have to just select it. You have to take notice here. Earlier it was like here 24 both. So it was for 24, it was showing available IP 251. But now as of now I did 25. So it available IP reduces to 123. Why it reduces to 123? Because I changed for front end subnet size. This thing. Changing the subnet size. So this part is also done. So this is the same way we do and subnet changing and thing. Again, now next come to like virtual machine networking. Suppose like we did in first session we did virtual virtual machine creation. Now if we have two VMs in our premises and in our production server, we need to talk these two VMs randomly each other. So how do we create? There should must be a connection. That connection called virtual machine networking. So how do we set up virtual machine networking? We just create a Azure VMs and we do a VM network setting. Create a new NIC. NIC means network interface card, and attaching and deattaching NIC from a VM. In this session, we're gonna learn these things. How to create a virtual machine networking, and how to set up a new NIC and attach and deattach from its VM. That let's see how to go. We will go at home. So like whatever we did recently, it will show here like showing some display time. Again, we will go and create a new resource. We can use same thing, and but here we are going to use a new resource, and for this we need a like server. So we gonna go with this thing. Here it is already Windows 2019 server data center. So we select it. And it automatically fetches our subscription. Since I have only one subscription, so it and for resource group, you can create a new resource group. But here I already did packet networking portal, so I will select this one. And this will ask the virtual machine name. Again, this virtual machine name should be different from earlier one, because if there want to be two different virtual machine, then only we set up the bridge connection among them, between them. So like let me call this packet or something, and it will like Central India. It will be standard and RDP 367. We don't need hybrid connections. So it will ask here some administration password. So I have already set up some administration password. So it's like asking me same thing. Let me type here. Let's see, is it correct? Password confirm doesn't match. Okay, fine. Okay, no issue. I can remove this too. Password should be uh, so it's asking for some special character. Let's give like one, and let's make it uppercase. And it's asking like it should be among between 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it's fine. So I will just copy and paste that. No, it's not working. Fine. PASSW or password. Fine. Just I set up the new password because I have forgotten what was my earlier. And here we go. Instead of RDP 3389. Okay, fine. We have to next disk. It will ask no, thank you. I don't want. See here, it will like premium disk storage, whatever you want. Like it depends upon your pricing. Whatever your requirement will be, you can choose. I will go with the default one. Uh, so here it will if you have attaching disk or attaching existing, if you have already any storage available, you can attach it from here. But I don't have and don't want to go in advanced setting. It will go like if you do one partition in hard disk, so you can do it from here. I will go with next networking part. So it will show like virtual network. My virtual network name, it's packet portal. And if I go with subnet, I will want to go with front end. New public IP it will generate. Yeah, I will go and I see network security group basic. It will I will go with by default one. And next part will be management part. Let's see. So here, like enable is recommended. Enable custom storage is will be disabled, and identity we don't want identity. Like here auto shutdown we don't want, so it's already by default it's untick. And here should be like proximity group, and we'll go with advanced. If you have something like any extensions to wants to install, you can install it from here. I don't have any things to install, and I will simply click on next. Now create review. So it will take a couple of minutes to generate, and now here it will pricing will come like how much it's gonna cost us. So it will like 0.1300 US dollar per hour, based upon like whatever standard disk we have selected and all those things. Now again we have to create. So click on create. So meanwhile, I will tell you like how VMs this thing work. Like we already create a VM, and it's create NIC, and NIC used to sort interconnection between these two VMs and the virtual network. And this NIC will be assigned the private IP address by the network, and this NIC is associated with the both VMs and virtual network. If this IP is used by VM using these IP addresses, the VM can communicate over the private network with the others. Is already deployed, created. Its deployment is underway, and as soon as it will be deployed, all things will be green. And here also we can check from notification tab. Deployment is under the process. Uh, so in this thing, we are gonna create new NIC attaching and detaching from the VM file. So these are the steps what I just now I did. Coming to this again, deployment is underway. I can go with the next slides. After deployment, it will look like this. Now see here, deployment is completed. Either we can go from everywhere or we can go with here also. You go to resource, same thing. Same here. Resource group is like this one. It's our status is running. If it will be stopped, it will be like decommissioned or stopped status, and it will assign our public IP. Through this IP, we can remotely access, or anyone who has access to the public IP, they can access. But this is the private IP. Through this IP, two VMs or the two VM networking things will gonna communicate each other, and we have like standard disk size, and the RAM is 3.5 GB. And coming to part like what was our topic here? This thing, creating a virtual networking, create uh, card. So like how to create a new NIC again here. We have already created a virtual machine and things. And so for creating new NIC, we have to go again with create resource group, network interface. And mm, so if I go here, click here and create search it here like network interface. It will be why we are creating a network interface. Because just now we have created two VMs, and but we don't have a suppose in your laptop there is a data card which ethernet port or ethernet card which communicates with outer internet world. But this is the virtual machine, we don't have any physical device connected, so we have to on software from software part we have to create a network interface, a network card to communicate these two VMs. It will be like all those settings will be like same as the hardware we have in our laptop or physical device, whatever you want. So we have to create it on click on the create button, and again it will ask Azure subscription, and again resource group we are gonna create in the resource group same. And for network naming of just for con- we are gonna create NIC one, and design is like Central India. And here comes like whatever IPs we want a static IP or dynamic, let it be a dynamic. And just tag, click on tags. We don't need any tags here because we have simply only ones. And so this will be an NIC portal, and just create on create. Meanwhile it's create, I think it will take 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah, see, like deployment is already completed. That's fine. If we go to resources, it will show like this. This is our first network card. So it will communicate like where we gonna use it. It will gonna come. Now we have to attach this network card to a VM so that these two VMs can communicate each other. So how to communicate? How to attach NIC to a VM? Simple. We have to locate our VMs, like where we. So just now, if you go here, so this thing we created a virtual machine like VM. So we have to select this one. In the beginning of this session, I just created this virtual machine, and we have to select here first connecting a network card to any VM. It's the mandatory to this VM should be in like a stop condition or deallocated condition. Currently, its status is running. What happens like if you do in running condition, if you connect with some network card, it will throw some error and it won't be properly configured. So first of all we have to stop this VM. It's already running, so for stopping we have just click on stop. It will ask like, do you want to reserve the public IP? We don't want to reserve, so we will untick it, and just we click on stop, and it will stop our virtual machine. As soon as it stop, we will proceed with further steps, and we will connect this VM to our network card. And I think it's still running. Let's see how much time it will take. Yeah, fine. Now it has already stopped. Yeah, here if you go and see, it's already stopped deallocated, and here also a notification came like virtual machine is successfully deallocated. So now we can go and proceed with further things. And inside the settings and the VMs, here the networking part. If you click on here, it comes here attached networking interface. For this session, let me go through again, and let me show you one interesting thing. What happens here? It's pop up is already enabled. Let's see what happens if we if this VM is running and we do uh, attachment of NIC while running a VM. Let's see what happens. For this, we have to restart this VM. Okay, fine. We have to click on start, and it will show here starting. Okay, I have clicked twice. It's updating. It will update soon. You will. Yeah, it's failed because I clicked twice. So fine. It gonna update within a minute. If you do run if we do run this thing, then so see our VM is now in running state. And if we come to net see here is a part, and if you want to attach any network interface card, this highlight will be this button will be disabled. So for this we have to uh, stop this server first, then only we can do all this kind of configuration. Again, it will take within 1 or 2 minutes, and for this I will be here just for saving time. Let's see how much time it will take. Stopping. As soon as like it will stop, this button will be enabled, and we can go and attach any VMs. And from same way, how we do attach any NIC to any VMs, we can similar way. We here is the detach button, and for detach we have to follow the same procedure. We have to first stop the virtual machine, and see successfully stopped. And if I click it here again, overview, it's reallocating again, it's still reallocating. It will take one more second, although it's already showing the. Let me refresh it. Yeah, see, fine. It's already stopped. If I go on networking part and see this button is now enabled, if you go, I automatically select like whatever our network card will be. It will automatically show all the list. Currently, we have only one card, network interface card number one, so it will show, and we will create OK, and attaching a network interface. It will pop up like this, and it will attach to this VM. And it's already attached to our VM. How to check it is already attached? See, from here it will show an NIC public IP, this one, NIC private IP, this one, and if we show networking, it's already enabled. Again, for same, if you go to our slide, first this part is already completed attaching. Now we have to deallocate from VMs. So these are the steps. I'm just skipping because we already did it in this part hands-on. So fine. Now coming to deallocate, again same thing. It's already in a stopped condition. Okay, we go in the networking part and just deattached it here. Deattached, it will show like this one or this one. So we have to this is like earlier one I used. So this is our network card. So just click on here. It will deattached. And see here, its notification will pop up like automatically deattached from our VMs. That's fine, and this thing is also done, the attachment. Now coming to next part, it's like energy is like nothing much, and that's network security groups. And network security groups are built. Actually, it is like tool inside of our Microsoft Azure, which controls and which gives us control to filter out like for inbound and outbound traffic of a network. Like we can monitor or at a subnet level or through at network interface level. And you can say that it's like kind of a firewall at a network level. Network security group is kind of a firewall at a network level, and they contain set of rules like that allow or deny. And these set of rules are obviously set by administrator or like who has access. And they can, on the basis of these rules, they can deny or specify traffic resources or submit in Azure. Okay, and find this thing. Again, one interesting part, and energy can be associated with either of subnet or network card level, interface level, which is generally done by applying security rules and virtual machine. And I think that's fine. Again, coming to hands-on part, let's quickly do create an energy portal and select allow rule, and then afterward deny rule. So how to do that? How to do that? Again, just for this part, go to home, and again create a resource group resource. So creating a resource, and from here searching like search network security uh, group group. Let's see here, like network security group, it is like here. And Yeah, it will. Let's click on the create button, and it will automatically select our subscription, what we have, and resource group. We already created resource group. We don't want to create multiple resource group for as of now. And create a name like so create it like NSG1, something like that. Energy is one like network security group one, and click on tag. We don't want any tag because it's only one inside our VM. And create and review. So this will be our, that's looks good. And just create, click on create button. See, it will be deployment in process. As soon as it deployed, it will pop up like NSG is already created. Or that's fine. It's see, energy already created. Creating energy is not a big task. It's a simple, just few steps of click. But main thing is setting rules here, like how this thing gonna filter out like which traffic should be denied and which traffic should be. So there for setting a rule, there are two things like inbound rules and outbound rule. Inbound rules like whatever traffic are coming to our server or whatever traffic are coming from outside of the world, it should be in inbound rule. And what is outbound rule, like whatever inside those those servers, what if someone just for general purpose example, if you visit your office or like any work location, if you type to click on Facebook or open any social media site, it won't. Sometimes it works or sometimes, most of the time it won't. Why? Because they have certain outbound security rules from the same at either a firewall level or energy level. If they have set up the rules like you can't access facebook.com or slash business that slash facebook.com, so you can't access any user on this those premises and those network area, they can't. For setting the rules, we have to for in there are two kind of rules: inbound security rules and outbound. So first we will set rules for inbound. For inbound setting rules, we just have to click on inbound. And again, for by default, there are a few rules. It will be automatically provided by our Azure. But we want our own rule to set, so we have to click on here add and the topmost. And resources will be like any, yeah, that's fine. And from any resources, it will be coming, it will apply for all those things. And here port 8080 like web portal port, so if you can use 443 also here, that will also fine for web portals. And it will protocols will be any, not for only for TCP. TCP is just like transmission control protocol, and this is user datagram protocol, and this is internet control message protocol. So we want like either of these things will come. So we will select by default any, and priority will be like 100. And again, see port, it will good practice to keep it like port whatever we have given port range. So it is good practice to keep the name like port underscore something like that. And for description, you can select the like for which rule you have selected. So for this, we're gonna write allow HTTPS. Yeah, HTTPS is hyper text transfer protocol over secure layers. So we have selected this and click on the add button. So it will create a rule, and as soon as it will create here, new rule will pop up. Just now it has came, but let it be finished. Fine. One rule is already created. If you go here, it will show like whatever the rules. You can write whatever description you want it here as a rule for just for other associate to understand why this rules has triggered. Okay. Now, so this rule is already done for inbound traffic, and just for outbound traffic. Similarly, where we will go here and we will click add rule, and we can again click on any, and port 8080 will we also find, but I am going with changing port 443. And here also port 443. And more interesting part, we have to select it here deny. Action should be always deny, because like we are setting like out these kind of rules can't access. This will be the same which already existed. Okay, fine. So let me change it with 8080 port 8080, and description will be like deny SSH, and simply we can click on add, and after successful it will add on like here a rule. So how basically how it works, all outbound traffic will be allowed by default, but we have selected rules. We have set up the rules here. If we want to visit any denied traffic on a specific port, like for this port 8080, any traffic going from inside to outside, it won't work. Like suppose if someone is accessing a web portal of Facebook, we have already blocked those port number of Facebook. So these people or anyone who are trying to access, they want, and that's fine. And so in this way we can create inbound security rules and outbound security rules in network security groups. Now our last part of this session is like managing IP addresses. So like how do we manage any kind of IPs inside virtual network? Like this is the main part of networking, and I think I will say like in cloud networking, all those things. So we do have to create a virtual public IP, assign a public IP to an address, and we will unassign those IPs. So for just for this thing, we will go again with some hands-on session. Yeah, and we will do see how do we create and manage IPs in there. Again, come to for home just for refresh. Click on resource, same way. Select here public IP address, so it will automatically suggest. Click on here. Click create. So it will ask like which kind of public IP address you want, like IP version 4, 6, or both. I will go with the by default selected one, SKU. So SKU is nothing but socket keeping unit. So I will go with by default a standard. No, I will just go with. You can go with by default standard. Let me go with basic one. Uh, why if you go and with the standard one, it will be ask few more details here, but I don't want to put it here, so I just will go with the basics, and basics all this part will taken care by Azure itself. So it will ask like what name you want to give this. So I just want IP public portal or something like that. Public. So it will again ask like, do you want dynamic IP or static IP? I will go with dynamic DNS. I won't need subscription. Will be selected. Resource group. Let it be like this one. This resource group, and just create. Click on the create button. Meanwhile, it's initializing our deployment. We will let's go with like how it will work. So like socket keeping unit, there was SKU option there, so it can be either basic or standard. So for SKU, if you have to see here, it's already selected basic because we gone with the basic. The main difference is a standard is close to inbound traffic by default, and uh, inbound traffic must be like whitelisted in our energy group, and that a standard zone is like redundant. And another difference between a standard and basic is like a standard SQ public IP address has a like static assignment, while basic SQ can be either static or dynamic. So these are the main difference between SQ, basic, and standard part. So this thing is already done. And now coming to part like how do we assign a public IP. So our public IP portal is already done. Now it's come to like how do we assign thing. So if we go here and IP configuration part, not here. We go it here. again, and we have to click our network interface. So what was our network interface? So this was our network interface, NIC1 we just created before, and we have to assign this IP to any address. So we will go here, IP configuration section, and we will click on here add. Yeah, so if just uh, public IP address, IP configuration, that's fine. This will automatically selected. And if you go, if you want, so here you will like associate or disassociate. So we have to select a first give it like name. So give it, you can put a name like anything like suppose NIC2 or something. And one more thing, let it be like okay, associate from here, and from public IP portal assignment should be dynamic. Uh, just here should be public IP addresses, IP portal network. Just click on create. It will take few minutes, and it will create. So see, it's like, and if you go on a notification also, like same network interface, and I see deploy is already done. So basically, how it works, like a public IP address exists as a separate resource, and it can be assigned to any resource at any time. Like when we do assign IP public IP address, this IP address access service running on a resource that IP address is assigned to. Uh, for this, we must to keep remember like energy network security group must be applied, and even we can remove an IP address from a resource and assign it to new resource. For the just in next step we gonna see like how do we like unassign an IP address from any like any resources and save it to save it for future reference or for further configuration. So see again, same thing. We will go in IP configuration, and just now we did created this thing. So we go in this thing, and simply we have to like deassociate and thing, and just we have to click on the save, and now it will be uh, and so now it will be unassigned from public IP from our resource. So these were those things. What if we go through this the slide first, and so what we did. So we just created a virtual network, and inside the virtual network, we learned virtual machine networking, and we created network security groups, and we managed IP addresses among those things. So it will be already associated. If we go here and check our notification tab, it's already so perfect. So I think these were the basic things for a beginner for creating a Azure virtual network, VM networking, and how network security group works, and like how managing and all those things will happen. For this, if you want to go for some any resources, so you can also go here like Microsoft Learn Azure Learning Portal or any like document. If you click on search, a few learning resources will be automatically will be like this thing. Uh, so these are for if you go see if you want to like Azure free for a student. If you go and click on this part, you can use for Azure credit student credit. I wanna put this link to in our live chat. Is it? Let me see. gonna put it. I don't know where to put. Let him keep it here. Okay, fine. So, like, these were our part. Over to you, Vishwas. Is there any questions? You can turn off camera. See you at the end. Okay, fine, fine. These are not my question.
Yeah, so am I audible to you? Hello. Actually, there are some questions for you, Shuvendu. The first question, as I'm seeing popping up, is that one audience is asking you, what is best on network? Okay, so can you please help it out, like give some reference for it or anything related to Bastion Azure network? Hello, am I audible? Uh, Actually, there was a question for you, Shuvendu. So I'm just stopping my camera and again speaking. One audience asked, what is best on Azure services? So can you please help him out?
uh, Surya Shankar, uh,
Yes.
ऐड कर देंगे वो so
Yeah.
Shubhendu,
No, Lakshit, am I audible to you?
yes, you are audible.
Yes, actually, I was scrolling up the YouTube feed, so I found two, three questions. So the first was one audience asked regarding Azure Bastion network. So can anyone help him out regarding that?
Subhendu, are you listening? Subhendu.
Suvendu, uh, hello, Suvendu, can you hear us?
So I guess Subhendu has some network issues.
Okay, fine.
So no worries. We will just end it up right here. So we can just share some resources. Just let me know.
Yeah,
So
Lakshit, please share some resources. It will be really helpful for the audience, and thank you everyone who took out their time to attend this session. And also, this session will be available on YouTube also, and you can check out our page. The link is given below. And for any queries, you can reach out to us anytime. So it's very like insightful session by Subhendu. So you can also reach it out to him if you have any technical queries regarding any stuffs regarding to Microsoft Azure networking fundamentals and whatever he taught you. So yeah, that's it. So have a great evening ahead. Bye
yeah,
bye.
thank you everyone. Thank you Surya Shankar for joining in. Thank
Yeah,
you Subhendu for joining in. So see you then, guys. Bye.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Lakshit. Thanks.